Hi guys, I'm Liv and today I'm doing my August reading wrap-up. You know what? I read quite a few physical copies this month and I'm very happy about that. I read a grand total of 5 physical copies this month, which is actually really good for me. Usually I read so much on my Kindle and don't really read any physical copies, but I have so many books I need to get to. I use Storygraph for my statistics. It's just easily laid out. It's like graphs and things. It's really simple to use if you're interested. This month I read 6 books and that is a grand total of 2,178 pages, and the average time it took me to finish a book was 5 days. I read 40% fast paced and 60% medium. What should we start with? I feel like I'm just going to start at the top and work my way down all these books. And then, do I have any books I read on my Kindle? I have a couple I read on my Kindle. Not many, but I've got a couple. So the first one I'm going to talk about is one that is so TikTok hyped and I never picked it up for some reason. That is Ali Hazelwood's The Love Hypothesis. This is the book. I honestly never gave this book a go and I've always wanted to in a way, but I've always thought maybe it's going to be really overhyped. Maybe it's just like a TikTok hype book and I wasn't sure. I'll be honest with you, I wasn't too sure about it. However, I picked it up. I picked up the whole series in the works for about, I think it was £10. I loved this book so much. I gave this book a 4.75 and I found so much enjoyment in this book. So this book, we have our female main character called Olive and the male main character is Adam. So Adam is a professor and Olive and Adam end up doing this like fake dating because she is trying to basically, a long story cut short, she is trying to convince her friend that she is fine with her dating somebody that Olive once dated because Olive doesn't like this person anymore. And the friend is like, but you're not with anybody. So she convinces her professor to do a fake relationship with her to make her friend feel better. So that is what this is all about. He is this grumpy guy who is very blunt with people, but with her, he is slowly melting because she is so sweet with him. It's such a good book. It was so heartfelt and moving, and honestly it's a really good rom-com, and I love a rom-com and this was a true rom-com. I loved it so much. I had so much fun with it. It was great pacing. It had great highs and lows in the plot. Into the storyline, I was really enjoying it. There was a storyline alongside the romance basically existed and I loved it so much. But I would highly recommend this. It's not just a TikTok hype book, it's a really good book. So I would recommend. Next book we're going to talk about is Holly Jackson's Not Quite Dead Yet. Now I did do a book review on this book, and if you want to go see that, it will be in the cards somewhere now. But I will say I gave this book a 2.75. Didn't have much enjoyment with this book, but if you want to see my full opinion and review and everything, please go watch that video. It's very long-winded. If I'm going to go through it now, then it'll just make more sense if you went and watched the video. Yeah, it just would make more sense. But I didn't have much fun with this book, and just watch the video. It's hard to explain. I next read Next of Kin. This one is by Hannah Bonham Young and I love Hannah Bonham Young. I don't know why I put off reading this book for so long, but I did. I put off reading this book for so long and then I finally picked it up and read it, and honestly it's one of my favourite Hannah Bonham Young books that she's ever written. This and Out of the Woods are my favourite books by her. I adored this book so much. So Next of Kin was about, it's a marriage of convenience. Well, it's not marriage, but relationship of convenience. So first of all, we have our film main character who is called Chloe, and then we have our male main character called Warren. So these two people are wanting to adopt their siblings. So Warren wants to adopt his 15-year-old brother, and Chloe wants to adopt her baby sister because they both know what it's like to grow up with a parent that's either absent or abusive or just disappears altogether. They want to be there for their siblings, so they end up having to be together and live together basically to qualify to have the right home for their sibling, to be able to qualify for adopting them basically, and financially have enough stability. This book is so good, but it's so emotional. I loved the romantic connection between Warren and Chloe. I thought that the spiciness and the tension throughout was really good. It's really done well. Very much enjoyed both their characters. I thought they both had flaws, but they were flaws that just made them very human. I think that's a common thing with Hannah Bonemium's books. Her characters just feel like regular people. They feel real. I did give this book a 4.5 and I really thoroughly enjoyed it. I found myself crying at it, I was loving it, I was so sad when it ended, and there are, again, like there is a big plot happening aside from the romance. The romance is kind of like a subplot, but the actual plot is like so big and so high stakes, because it's really about whether or not these people are going to be able to adopt their siblings, and if they're going to end up going back to their parents who are not good people to be looking after these children. Yeah, it's a very, very good book and I would highly recommend Next of Kin. I have next got 3 books, which is the rest of the books I'm going to talk about. And they are all quite deep topics. So if you are not looking for something that's a historical fiction, I would not recommend any of these books to you, but the rest of the books I've recommended are all really good for anybody. But these books are going to be quite harrowing, quite serious, and they are historical fictions, as I did mention. The first book I'm going to mention is a book that I read on Kindle Unlimited, and this is, I'm just going to double check the name of it. This is The Midwife of Auschwitz by Anna Stewart. Very harrowing. Like, this book was very harrowing, but it was done very well. So this book is, as it says, it's about a woman who becomes a midwife and she has to deliver babies in a concentration camp, and it's very raw and we get the brutality of the truth in this book. And I thought, for one, I'm going to comment about the writing style. The writing was so easy to understand. Like, I mean, this plot was very big in this book. It was a very large plot and it was very easy to follow. I never found myself lost or confused on what was happening. I really did understand what was happening, which I think is a very important thing. I also felt like it was done tastefully. I mean, this is a topic that I did a lot of research into and like studied. I studied a lot basically in school, this topic, and I thought that it was handled with a great sense of sensitivity. I also thought that the amount of characters that were included and what happens to the characters I thought was very realistic, and I thought that it was very, very raw, but it's done in a tasteful way and in a way that was, how to explain it, in a way that really explained things very well without being too just, this is stuff that happened. It did come across as a very good story and it was very easy to absorb the material. I did take quite a lot of breaks with this book because it was very harrowing and it was brutal with the things that it spoke about and the things that she chose to write about, Anna, was very brutal, and at times you did need to have a minute and be like, whoa, okay, I need a second. And that shows that it's a really good historical fiction when you have to take a minute and be like, okay, this is real, this did happen. That book I didn't give it a 4.5 and I very much thought it was written exceptionally well. Next 2 books I also rated a 4.5. So we first of all got The Wartime Book Club. Now this book is by Kate Thompson and I got this book on a whim, I won't lie. I got this book on a whim and I bought this from the works, I think for £1. I got this book for £1. That's crazy. But I took a chance on this book because the blurb really got me. So this book is written about a true story that happened, and this is about a girl called Grace, and there is another girl, I can't remember her name, but I can't open the book right now because I've got a mug in my hand. This book is about 2 girls who are living on this island, which has been taken over by Nazis, and they are having to survive. The rationing is getting insane, there is no food left, no money, and people are starting to lose hope. But at the same time, there are rebellions happening, and by rebellions I mean people are rebelling against the Nazis. So one of the things in this book, the main thing in this book, is the bookshop. So there is a bookshop, and in this bookshop we have what's our bookshop? Is it a library? it's a library, and this library is hiding books which are meant to have been burnt. Now this is a massive offence and you can be sent away for this. She, being Grace, is a young girl and she does not want these books to be taken away. She wants, for when this war is over, people to still be able to enjoy the literature, and she wants to save them from being destroyed. There is also a side plot with another female main character, and she is a very boisterous character. She doesn't care if she gets caught doing this rebellious stuff, and she very much wants to stick it to the Nazis. Like she wants them to know it's her. Whereas Grace is much more tactful, and she is nervous about being caught, and she wants to make sure things are okay for her and her family. This book is very good. It's incredibly good. One of the things I loved about this book was every chapter we got a little paragraph which mentioned a book which had been destroyed by the Nazis and who it was written by and the reasonings for it being destroyed. Now, the reason I loved this so much is because we're keeping those books alive, and also a lot of those books were written by people that we know today, and it's like those books are massively like important books in literature or science, and it's crazy to think of a world that they didn't exist. I just thought it was a very important thing to be included. I thought the writing style in this book was amazing. I think I'm going to drop this mug. I thought the writing style was amazing. I think the pacing was brilliant. At the end of the book, we had a lot of letters and pictures of real people, and the true story about what happened was very emotional, a beautiful love story in it as well, which I didn't expect, and it had me crying. I thought that the entire storyline, honestly, I was not expecting it to be such a big storyline, but once again, it was a massive storyline. Just when you think, okay, this will be the end goal, it happened within like 100 pages, and I was like, wait, where is this book going to be going? So many things happened. The plot was so intricate and detailed, and if I hadn't picked this book up, I wouldn't have been able to enjoy this. I'm just so happy that I took a chance on it. The cover just drew me in, and something about it, I was like, you know what, it's £1, like I'm gonna give it a go, and I'm so glad I did. I recommend to anybody out there, pick up a book that you've never heard of before and just read it, because I have read so many books that I have loved with not knowing who the author is, and I've found like new favourites basically from doing that. The last book I read, I gave a 4.5 again, and this is White Chrysanthemum. This is by Mary Lynn Bracht, and this book was very harrowing again, but this one was about, it's set in Korea. Yeah, it's set in Korea, and this is Korea, which has been occupied by Japan during World War II, and this book is basically about women who were called comfort women. So if you know what that is, you'll know what this book's about. It's about women who were taken against their will and forced to become prostitutes basically for Japanese soldiers who believed that it was their right to have a woman before they went into battle. And it's a very harrowing book of a girl who gets taken and everything that happens to her, and it's a flashback book. So we have the then, and then we have the now, which is the sister who was trying to figure out what happened to her sister back then, because she was only a really young child when it happened, and she does not remember her sister at all. She just remembers having a sister one day, and then one day her sister disappearing and never seeing her again. Very well paced, I will say. I think towards the end it got a little slower paced and I got a bit confused, but I do understand what happened at the end and why it happened, and I think if you understand by the end of the book why things happened, then that's the sign of a good book. I really did enjoy this. I don't want to say enjoyment because it's not enjoyment, because I did feel sick throughout a lot of this book. It was written very well and it read very easily. I very much thought it was a very good book. It was written incredibly well, and I wasn't lost, which is my main thing with historical fiction. I never want to be lost and think I ain't got a clue what I'm reading right now. It was a good book. Once again, a book that I had no idea about, and I thought, you know what, I'm gonna give it a go. That has been the video, guys. I hope you guys have enjoyed. I hope you got some recommendations and things that you're thinking, okay, yeah, I like that one, I'm gonna give it a go. That has been the video. I hope you guys have enjoyed. I'll see you guys soon with another video. Subscribe, like, and all that stuff, and I'll see you guys pretty soon. Bye.